Hello again, my fellow diecaster blasters. This is Strick with Peak Speed Lab 164. We got a little bit something different today. Um, I was going to do an intro of the next brand that ended up in the lab, and I always like to research these brands a little bit. This has kind of an interesting story. So this video is going to be more about this Kaido House brand. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. These are the two vehicles that arrived into the lab, and let's see, they I, I always like to know what the origin is, right? The origin country. So this will be like, I think, the 29th brand, but the story's kind of a little bit different because there are kind of multiple countries involved. So I'm gonna have to read off my laptop here to give you a little bit more background about the about this particular brand, okay, which is done, it looks like, in partnership with Mini GT, but as there that's the case with some of these other brands, but it's a standalone brand, so it counts as a new brand. Now, I apologize right now if I butcher any of these names, but I'm going to do my best. Hopefully, you'll chime in and provide some feedback if you have any corrections. Also, please remember to subscribe, because while this isn't going to be getting unboxed today, it will be in the future. Along with, we got a lot of brands that haven't hit the lab yet or haven't hit the test tracks yet that are in the lab. Like I said, we're approaching 30 brands across like 9 countries and regions. So you don't want to miss out on any of this like awesome 164 diecast happiness, as I like to say. Okay, so on to this Kaido House. Jun Imai was, I guess, a designer at Hot Wheels, or at least under Mattel, and he designed, I guess, some of the most iconic Hot Wheels castings in history, but I don't have that information. It's really not about what he did there. It's more about like sort of his history and developing of this brand. So once he decided to leave Hot Wheels Mattel, which is under Mattel, he decided to build his own brand. Okay, around his kind of like the Japanese lifestyle, right? So he's from Japan, but the base of the company is in the USA, and of course, as with many of these cars, they're made in China. So we're counting this brand, Kaido House, as USA because that's where it's considered its home base, I guess. Okay, but think about it as a multi jurisdictional thing. But we're gonna go with that for now. Anyway, he didn't just design cars. What I've learned about him is that he built a lifestyle around these Japanese racers. So um, there is, I guess, a culture that follows it. Well, not I guess, I know there is, right? I mean, everything from drifting to just really some of the cool super sports cars and tricked out cars that you can see today, often appear in movies and that kind of thing. You can see, I'm sure, in many YouTube videos, that sort of thing. Um, so it's more about culture, I guess, with this brand. So with Jun, he Kaido means highway in Japanese, that I learned, and the racers are heavily modified street cars. So hopefully, if you are watching this and you want to chime in about what some of your favorite cars are, where are good locations, some of the drivers you might know, I mean, it'll be interesting to get more info on this particular culture and this particular house, right? The Kaido House. Aesthetics internationally, over the top, massive wings, deep dish wheels, aggressive body kits, loud liveries, and then opposite of the clean, kind of like balanced look as some of these cars. So these are going to be like really out there, very, I'm sure, creative, very aggressive in both their look and their vibe. Production partnership story we have here. Again, I mentioned the design is in LA and Tokyo, but physically made through GT's manufacturing infrastructure in China. But again, they're considered I guess their HQ, whatever, is in the US, in California. So when it hits the ramp here, we're gonna do these as Kaido House. Okay, we're gonna do these as all these cars and brands, we're not really competing against each other. They are, but we're getting their composite scores as they go through these different track systems. So let me remind you real quick. We've got short form drag strip, which measures time in seconds. The the reason for this, they get their 20 warm-up laps so we can make sure the cars are seated, then their 10 official laps. We take the average of their speed, of their time, it's not their speed, their time, to complete the short form drag strip lap, and then average that out. They get 10 runs, average of 10, and then they'll get a score based on where they fall in comparison to all the rest of the cars. Then they move on to the 164 scale quarter mile drag strip, which is, we've had several already in there, in which case they've already been seated, but they'll get no warm ups. They get 3 runs. We take the average actual miles per hour of their runs, and then I also do their average miles per hour actual, and then I will do their scale speed, which is basically times 64, okay, because they're 164 scale. And then we're there. Then they'll get a score in relation to how they performed against all the other cars. Then that will determine their score. We're calling this a composite score, and so that's 2 of the 3 track systems. The third one, which isn't built yet, that I've talked about, will be more about it'll be more about distance. But we also want to see how these cars, because again, in the end, we're interested in the physics of these cars, right? This is mass and gravity battling friction. Okay. So how these cars are built, how they are designed to run, what materials that are used, all of that stuff. So we are testing in 2 categories: rubber wheels versus plastic wheels. Okay, so whichever they fall into is how they'll fall in. The third, getting back to the third track now, again, I mentioned the distance, but it also is going to have like right turn. It's going to have a turn one direction. We'll have an S turn or an S section. We'll have another turn. We're going to see how well these cars can either maintain their energy or how quickly they bleed it off. And then based on how far they make it on that track, we'll also give them a score in relation to how all the others. And then that track, no warm up, they get 1 run. Now, caveat, we are not here for punishment. So if a car wrecks, now if it doesn't complete it, that's one thing. But if it like wrecks or runs off the track, we're gonna give them another shot, right, until they can get a full run. So anyway, that's kind of where we are with all this. Now, coming back to Kaido House, okay? Every brand, we talked about this. They've spent years, okay, at Mattel. Kaido, Yoon did, or is it Jun? June. Please correct me. I'm sorry again if I'm butchering the name. Imai spent years at Mattel, kind of decided what makes great cars. So he's taken his knowledge into his own brand. I can't wait to run these now because this looks pretty good. There's some pretty good history on this as well. So does this have a reputation? How many of you have heard of Kaido House? I don't know. This is my first time as well. Again, I ordered these off of, I'm trying to remember, these probably came from Amazon. Some of these cars I get from other sources, everything from like eBay to I'll go on to actual sites because I'm trying to find as many brands as I can that are in the 164 scale. But this, I'm pretty excited. I mean, check out the artwork. We're going to do the unboxing. Another reason why you want to subscribe when we do this unboxing. Okay, this is one of the cars I have. Look at that design. It's pretty wild. And then we have the other vehicle here. And when I run these, is that this way? There we go. I will run these all together. These 2 will be on the same, test run because we've started doing these in batches now. I think that's it. A couple more things. If you've lasted this long in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, hopefully you'll subscribe. We're at 71 subscribers right now. So the giveaway for the Hemi, the 1970 Hemi Dodge Charger, Dodge Challenger is in progress. Nobody has claimed it yet. You can go to the videos, a couple of videos ago, where I explained kind of what you need to do to maybe it was, I don't know if it was the last video or 2 videos ago now at this point. But as of August 12th, 2026, nobody has won them yet. Okay. So that's as of I'm filming this now. And I was just on a second ago. Nothing's happened yet. And then the other thing, we have a stretch goal. So again, as I mentioned in other ones, I'm doing my best to, will no shame in trying to buy your support and subscription through giveaways. I'm doing a stretch goal of 300 now. Once we hit 300, I got this Mercedes 300 SL. This is like from the Elite 64 collection, brand new in case. And again, as I mentioned, all these giveaways, I have cars in the lab that are set aside for testing, and then I've purchased a lot of extras so that I can do these giveaways as we go. And so that'll be once we hit 300 subscribers. But in the meantime, the 70 subscriber metric was hit, or target was hit. So those two, oh, why don't I show them since they haven't happened yet? These are from the Nightspeed collection. Yeah, these are number 4 of 10 of the Nightspeed collection. So I'm giving away 1 to 2, 2 of these to different viewers. Okay, so check out that video where I talk about what you need to do to get in there. I think that's going to wrap it up for now. I appreciate you taking a look. I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate you. For those of you who've been commenting and liking the videos, as we continue to build this channel, got a lot more giveaways, got a lot more cool stuff in the lab here that I'm going to both be testing and giving away. So you don't want to miss out on any of that. Oh, also, sorry, one last thing. I heard from Chicken CTM, and that viewer received the Batmobile Silver Series from Hot Wheels, the box set, and they sent me pics. The kit looks great. I've only seen, when I pulled out the 1966 model from that box set for testing against the other 1966 castings or model. I didn't look at the cars themselves, the rest of them. I just kind of pulled it out and then put them back in for the box that I'm using for testing. But in seeing the pics of those cars, they look really slick. So I'm really glad that those arrived. So those are the 2 of the 3 giveaways that we've had so far that have arrived. I've got the last giveaway for Coolest Metalis. Again, still holding out hope that he will get back to me on Instagram, PeakSpeedLab164. You know, I just needed a piece of information regarding the address so I can get this Silver Series bug out to him that he won. So, yeah, unfortunately, YouTube and direct messaging doesn't really work well. So I've got to do this through Instagram, through the PeakSpeedLab164. All, well, lowercase, I guess, doesn't necessarily matter. No punctuation. PeakSpeedLab164. PeakSpeedLab164 at Instagram to how we're going to be doing these when you're DMing me and that kind of thing. Okay, unless you want to do a public message, but I don't think people want to give out their addresses on a public forum. Okay, I think that's really it. Sorry, I went on a little bit longer than I was planning to, but a lot of information here. But again, Kaido House is now new brand expanded in the lab. 29 brands across 9 countries. It's getting real. Well, I mean, it already was real, but it's going to be more real than real. So that's for real. All right. We're out of here. We'll see you for the next one. Thanks. Cheers. 次は下赤塚、東武練馬、上板橋、常盤台、大山。This is the last stop of this train. Thank you for using the Tobu line. 飛ばす首都高スピード上げすぎ光らすボディとオビスを抜ける東京全国各地にばらまく排気とニューシットお前のシットは無視でハイビー俺ら自由に乗ってるタイピーマイビッチより池田立ちやられるよりやることある毎日アクセル踏み壊れたブレーキ向かう新宿練馬に王子マイフ板橋生まれ立ち上げるのロシ止まらない足つづるかしカンパチカンナナ顔声街道照らす街灯それか太陽ステージに光る iPhone 内緒で帰っていくマイホーム曲がるコーナービートだサイレン光ってる石灯玉で玉